Hello and welcome to the Tuesday checklist on a Wednesday. How silly, why don't we just call it the Wednesday waffle or something? But if you think that's stupid, just wait until you hear about 5 times video games made us look like absolute fools. Because it's April Fool's Day coming up, and also because we like laughing at ourselves. Rosie's up first with a story about how she got a bit too cocky with the difficulty settings. You fool, Rosie! You fool.
A moment that a game made a complete fool of me wasn't even the game's fault. It was completely my fault, and I, put my hands up to it, but it did make me look like a big fool. It was when I first played God of War 2018. When I started playing it, I was kind of getting to a point where I thought, you know what, some games recently, when I've been playing it on normal, I've had an all right time, but I kind of wanted a bit more of a challenge, a bit more of a little kick. So I was at the stage where I was debating whether to go onto hard mode or not. With God of War 2018, I knew nothing about it. I was a bit late. I didn't play it back in 2018. I think I was a couple of years after. And I thought that it was a narrative experience. So I thought God of War was all going to be about the story.
It is.
And, the combat would be fun, but not like brutal or challenging. I knew the previous God of Wars had been, but I'd also heard a lot of people say again, oh, this takes a different angle to the combat. So I thought that it was like this big narrative experience, like that was its priority. And it is a phenomenal narrative, but what I did at this point is I thought, well, yeah, go on, it's gonna be a nice, lovely story. Let's put it on hard mode. Let's finally, let's take the jump from normal to hard and let's have a good old time. So, of course, played the beginning of God of War, had a wonderful time, the whole thing of chopping the wood and Atreus and all that stuff. And then you start to go into the woods and the tutorial begins. When you first bring out the Leviathan axe and you're like, oh, it's so cool. And it's just teaching you how to use it. And I got my ass kicked by the first 2 little sort of enemies, that literally the first 2, and I went from thinking, oh, this is a lovely narrative experience, to, oh my god, no, the combat in this game is a lot more than I thought it was. They're beating me to a pulp. Kratos is just rolling about, panicking with his axe, flinging it about. But it's not the game's fault at all. It was just, it made the biggest fool out of me because, the first 2 enemies, they just slapped me silly.
Why did you put it on hard mode?
Like when you're playing a game, you're debating whether to go from easy to normal. Whether you make that
all
jump.
All like, no.
Never had that debate with myself.
Well, I got to a point where I was debating on whether to try more games on hard mode, so I thought I'd try God of War 2018 on hard mode, because again, I thought it was a narrative experience.
I love how you think a lovely narrative experience, I'm going to make it really hard for myself.
So that's what I mean, it's not the game's fault, it was me being a fool, and then the game was just like, yeah, you're being a big old idiot here, this isn't a narrative experience, sonny. And then,
Did the game give you that message that games sometimes do, where it's like,
hate the message.
It appears you're struggling. Would you like to put the difficulty down?
I don't think it did, because I think I tried it
I have that
a couple of times. I think I tried it a couple of times, and then I just sort of knew myself that I was the fool. I knew myself that I was like, right, I've been a bit of a fool in this situation. Let's put it back onto normal. And then I played the game absolutely fine. I had a fantastic, lovely, balanced experience of a brilliant narrative and brilliant combat, and it was a fantastic game. And I know some people in the comments are going to be like, I played it on hard mode first time. But that's not the point. The point is that I was caught completely off guard thinking this was fun, narrative times, and then the game was like, no. You are an idiot. This is not fun narrative times, this is beat you silly times. You are the God of War, not the God of story time. So that's the time that's the time where a game rightfully made a fool out of me, and yeah.
So, a time a video game made a fool out of me. There's more than one entry here, because of course there is. I'm a video game fool, but the first one I feel like is designed in the game. It's a bit foolish, but it's a bit of fun as well, and that's Undertale. Because it's got that sense of humour the whole time, you're kind of willing to go along with the joke and be the butt of it. In the PlayStation Access office, we have Platinum Frenzy. We do. There's a disease here. It's a sickness. All of you are ill, and you've given it me. So as soon as you start any new game, you're like, how can I platinum this, I wonder? How can I get all of the trophies? And Undertale is just designed to be played for fun. The trophies are not like hard work. They're not anything, that you've got to put loads of effort in to get all the different bits. It's just like, play the game, have fun, and also donate to the dog shrine 15 times. Every time you go to the dog shrine, you can put 1 little bit of gold in or 1 coin or whatever. And the dog's like, woof woof, I'm a dog. And you go away and come back and something new has appeared. I'd looked at the trophy list before I started the game because I'm ill. So right, yes, I know there's got to be 15 donations here of varying things. So I was there with my coins like, okay, 1 coin in. And you go back in and it's just like, I think the first thing is, it's like a nibbled dumpling or like some fairy lights. And I was like, okay, it's gonna get bigger and better. Look how big and empty this room is. There's gonna be stuff here. You can only do it in 1 gold at a time. So it takes you ages to just be like, doop, doop, doop. So every time I did this, I'd go away and come back and there'd be a new thing there. And I'd be like, oh my God, it's gonna get bigger, it's gonna get better. And it was a piece of rope that wasn't long enough to do anything, or some blueprints. Exciting, you think, a game, fun, oh, what will the blueprints lead? What can I make? No, it's just a white piece of paper with some blue paw prints on it, like that sort of thing. One of the early rewards you get is a boombox, which plays the annoying dog song, which is like, and it gets faster every time you press it. So you go and interact with it and you're like, oh, okay, the song speeds up. And then I was thinking, maybe there's more. Maybe I should interact with it more. Maybe it's going to be like a secret. Maybe if I press it enough times, something will happen. And it just gets faster and faster and faster until it breaks and will only play at that speed every time you go in. So I was there literally for ages with my 1 gold coin going, yes, put in, with annoying dog song in the background. And I was like, what have I done? Why am I doing this?
My trophies.
I know, literally, I was like, this game has got my number here because I'm just here with annoying dog song, putting 1 coin in at a time into this shrine, begging for something to happen. And every time the dog's like, ha ha, you're in my shrine, you get nothing. And that's it. And that's it. And at the end of it, I had to put it on mute when I went in because I was like, I just couldn't bear it anymore.
I think Toby Fox, the creator, would be pleased to hear this.
Yeah, it absolutely did its job.
Apparently, I don't know if it's true or not, but he hated the idea of having to put trophies in the game.
Yeah.
So he just put a load in that were linked to this dog shrine to annoy trophy hunters like you.
Yeah.
Who just wanted to play the game for trophies.
It was, well, no, I wanted to play the game because I really liked it. The trophy was also easy. No, I really like Undertale. I had a great time with it. But I also knew I had to get all of the donations done because I had to. And yeah, it absolutely got me.
At least you have to beat Sans.
Yeah, no, I did a non-genocide run. I did a friendly run just because I thought it was more interesting and fun to kind of fight the monsters with figuring out their weaknesses. As much as I love whaling, I do love puzzles a little bit more. And figuring out how to like talk to the monsters and how to dodge their attacks and then kind of get them to go away without hurting them, I thought was a really fun thing. So yeah, I didn't fight Sans, thank God. Sans was my mate. Papyrus was my boyfriend.
So a time that a video game made a big fool out of me was when I was playing Bloodborne. We were doing the old Hunters DLC.
I can't believe you're digging up these memories, Rob.
Which everybody loves. Except me. We were having a bit of trouble all getting into each other's games, and so I found myself alone. Slowly but surely making my way up these staircases, and you get all those horrible enemies with the big bulbous heads that sort of rush at you going, "Rah!" like everything does in Bloodborne. It just runs at you shrieking. All the enemies in Bloodborne feel like they're in immense pain and that they're just desperate for you to kill them whilst trying to kill you at the same time. There's like a huge room where there must be a total of 20 of them in there. There's like a balcony with 3 of them on top and they're chucking vials of horrible stuff down at you. I did my usual tactic of pulling one at a time into the bottleneck of the entrance to the room and just taking them out one by one. And it must have taken me, in half an hour of this stream, must have been me just methodically churning my way through these enemies.
I'm laughing because I'm like nervous rather than it's funny. I'm just like...
I thought I was doing quite well. I was doing quite well. You know, it wasn't spectacular gameplay. It was Sam Allardyce Bloodborne. You know, it was practical, get the basics right. That's a football analogy, I apologise. But that means just, you know,
Eagles.
Nothing, Eagles. Nothing showy, just doing the basics. And I think by this stage, Ash, you'd managed to join my games. We were sort of like running around, like, yes, we're going to do it, we're getting to the top of this staircase. It did that thing where it was like, it had allowed me to believe that I was good at the game and that I was doing okay. Bloodborne always does this. It's like, it'll give you something that's like 7 out of 10 challenging, and it's difficult, but you go through it and you're like, yeah, I think I'm getting the hang of this game. Yes, I am, yes. And I was just, talking to Ash, talking about what we do when we get to the top. Probably there'll be a boss up there, talking about, I think maybe we'll beat the boss. And I wasn't paying attention, and I got to the top of the staircase, and I didn't see that at the top of the staircase, there's just a big chasm. I just walked over the top of the stairs, fell about 100 feet to my death. After all of that effort spent skillfully, slowly, methodically, working my way up, beating all the enemies, it was the gap. It was the gap that got me. I did not mind the gap, and I fell pathetically to my death.
I'm so sorry, Rob. It was actually awful.
And then I had to do the whole room again. And of course, when you do it the second time, there's a bit of frustration, there's a bit of urgency, there's a bit of anger there. You're like, for God's sake, I need to get back up here quickly to go and get my blood echoes back. When you're playing it like that, you inherently play it a bit more clumsily. You rush it a little bit. I then obviously got killed. And I felt like a very big fool, especially because I did it in front of about 2,000 people live on stream as well.
You've forgotten, Rob, or maybe you just didn't ever realise that actually I looked the bigger fool because I laughed really, really hard when that happened. I thought it was amazing, and then 5 minutes later I walked off the same edge.
Did you?
Yeah. No one saw that, but I did say out on the stream that's what had happened.
Wow.
I feel that's like the same in like all From Software games. The amount of times, especially in Elden Ring at the moment, I see a bloodstain and you watch it and you see someone debating whether there's a ledge they can land on or if they can't. And there's like, can I land on that? And especially because Elden Ring's more open world, so you like explore everything. And if there's a tiny little ledge, you see someone going, and then they do it, and they're like, down they go.
They've learned. They were learning.
They were learning.
They won't make that mistake again.
They were fooled
The thing is,
thinking
for me,
they could land.
I do make the same mistake again.
I have chosen something where I definitely looked foolish. And arguably, it was only slightly my fault, maybe. I'll let you be the...
I've already decided it's your fault.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, you be the judge, and I know you will be. So, look, this isn't a new story, okay? I'm dredging up the past. It's, of course, a time that I played Alien Isolation on the channel for Halloween. Pre your time, Ash.
Yeah. Oh, I know of it, though.
Yeah. Even before you, the rest of the team
laws.
liked to torment me. We did a Halloween stream where it was called something like, how terrified can we make Dave? Will he poo himself? Probably something like that.
Answer, yes.
Absolutely, he already has.
It was great. You had the heart rate monitor on.
They'd spared no expense. They'd gone to some effort to get a heart rate monitor and do all this behind my back and then present me with, welcome, you're going to play Alien Isolation. Let's put you on a pedestal and make you really be foolish. And really appear foolish to the whole world. And I did, obviously, but there was one particular moment which I maintain is not my fault. It's not my fault. I had to basically get through some vents. The xenomorph was also in the vents.
Yeah.
And
it's iconic. It's the iconic bit from the film. Oh, it's so good, so scary.
It's terrifying.
The beep, 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 beep. That's the film.
Oh.
And then you're looking up.
You've got the, what's her name? The one who's trying to guide you through the vents.
Yes,
Yeah.
she's helping.
Alice
Sometimes
Alien.
not helping that much. She's a bit
bad, isn't she?
unclear. She's panicked. I'm like, I'm with the xenomorph. Can you calm down and give me clear instructions?
Is her going, oh God, oh God.
Stop saying, oh God. Stop saying, oh God. Say, left here now. Just be firm and calm. That's what I needed. With the stupid, bloop, 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 as you say, the motion tracker is going on. But I did have my trusty flamethrower, and the xenomorph would not die at the hands of the flamethrower, if it had hands, but it would be perturbed enough to turn back in the face of the flames it will buy me some time. Because I wasn't very good at this section of the game, or any section of the game, I just kept restarting and trying the same bit again. And I got into this sort of rhythm of having the first bit down. I felt like I understood the game, I understood the xenomorph, I understood the flamethrower. This bit, I'm in charge of. This bit,
One could say you
I'm
were
the boss. I felt like the boss. I felt like
I'm the boss of this one
This
bit.
xenomorph, this is the only part in the game where the xenomorph is going to do what I say. And what I say is, no. Away.
With flames.
I mean, the universe is just cruel, isn't it? It's just cruel. It's not that I said that and then a couple of goes later there was a glitch in the Matrix. It was like, I had this revelation I became cocky at the exact moment when, for reasons I don't understand, was I a little late on the flamethrower? Was it just the game throwing a curveball where it's like, actually the Xenomorph doesn't care this time? Where as it came towards me, I exclaimed, I'm the boss, and gave it a burst of flame, and nothing happened apart from my face came off. I'm the boss. And I think I looked pretty foolish
One of
then.
the all-time Access great moments, I think, forever immortalised.
I'm the boss!
I don't know.
I aspire to that level of like Halloween content every year. I think, how can we get that out of Dave? How?
I don't think there's a formula, Ash. It's just like, maybe, I guess the formula is I have to become a bit cocky. And then, but I've learnt my lesson, maybe. I've learnt my lesson. I take nothing for granted anymore when it comes to horror games, because I'm not the boss.
I'm going to have to put you back in VR, I think.
I'm not the, don't you dare. Don't you dare, don't do it.
Oh, yeah.
No.
Oh, yeah.
No. No. I'm the boss.
There we go. You literally are my boss.
I'm the boss, so no. No. I'm the boss.
So the other time a game made a fool out of me, which was designed into the way the game works. At me specifically, it was designed to make me a fool, and it worked absolutely, completely, far too well, was Mirabelle the Banker in Hollow Knight. I spoke about it before. I'm still not over it, because it's just awful, horrible crack in a game that I really didn't need it at the time it happened. I've never felt rage or anger like it. Just bubbling, white-hot rage. You're collecting Geo, which is the currency, and as you go through, if you die, which happens a lot because it's a difficult game, then you lose your Geo and your kind of soul void, and you have to go back and pick it up, and then you get all your goods again. And it's really hard. It's really hard. Let me just emphasize, really hard. You have to keep going back to the surface to spend your Geo so you're not losing it every time you die, which happened to me quite a few times, and I was very emotional about it. So when I found Mirabelle the Banker, who's a lovely little bug who's set up like right at the bottom of Fog Canyon, or near enough there, that has her own little bank, you can go and leave your Geo there so you don't have to carry like thousands on you. I was like, oh my god, thank god Mirabelle's here, my lady, my bug. I can go and leave you some Geo, go on my adventures and not worry about losing it every time. So it took me a while to build up my coffers. I was really excited to have like a little bit of Geo at a time. So every time I'd get like a few bits of Geo, I'd be like, go and see Mirabelle, go and see Mirabelle, go and put it around her. Because I didn't have the map for that area as well. So I like had to like memorize where she was in my mind and then go and find her. So I'd go and get something and run back and go and get something and run back. But you go in and she's not at the bank. And I was like, oh, okay, she must just be taking a break. All my money's with her though, so hope she comes back soon. Hope she hasn't like died or something horrible in this game that's full of nasty tricks.
It's okay, Ash. You can tell us. You can tell us.
You go over to Mirabelle's bank. You hit the bank because you're like, what's going on here? Where, Mirabelle, knock knock. It's a cardboard cutout that falls over. And nobody's there, and Mirabelle's gone. The bank is fake. She's literally just set up there to rob you, and all the clues are there because she's like, haha, it's a bank. And she talks about putting it in a shell and stuff, and I was like, yeah, cool, thank you, Mirabelle, you lovely little bug. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And she's just a fake liar, horrible little conniving thief that runs off with all your Geo. And honestly, I had to stop. I was in the transcendent rage of this spirit leaving my body, like, because of all this hard-earned Geo I'd given to her, that I instantly Googled it, which I'm not proud of, but I was like, where is she? Where is she? What has happened? And it turns out later in the game you can find her in like a hot spring and absolutely kick the stuffing out of her, and she drops all your Geo and more. But when I found her, oh my goodness, did she get hit with my little nail? Like, absolutely, it was like on the wall, got her stuck in a spot and was like, give me my Geo, give me more Geo. And she stops like giving out after a while, and I was like, and this is for my emotional trauma. I just hated it so much. It's such a well done trick as well, because just the game is full of them, like the grubs, which I've spoke about in that video, where you free them and then you go back and then the grub father's just full of them, like chomping away. There's another lovely little beetle. She's like a little miner. Yeah, thank you. She's talking about like her family are all being miners, and she's loving like just doing she does a little song and she's doing her mining, and she's just a little cutie basically. But as you go into the Crystal Peak, there's loads of bugs that look like her that have got the derangement, the madness, the ickiness, the horribleness, the platinum frenzy is what they've got. When you come back out and find her later in the game, she's got the sickness and she attacks you, and well, I had to kill her. I was like, damn. Whoops. It's full of stuff like that, where it's kind of like this harrowing, somber, melancholic thing, But Mirabelle the Banker was not melancholic. That was just mean. That was just mean, and it made me feel like a right fool. And yeah, I love it. I hate it. Love it. Respect it. Hate it. I've got complicated feelings about
It's
Mirabelle the
complicated.
Banker. Yeah.
It's complicated.
Still haven't beaten the living failures. I guess I am a living failure when it comes to Bloodborne.
You don't need that caveat.
Ah, what a lovely way to end it. Let us know your own foolish anecdotes in the comments. Give us a like if you're planning some top-level hijinks this April Fool's Day. And please hit the notification bell and subscribe if you haven't already done so to make sure you're always up to date with everything from the world of PlayStation. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again soon.